They play. I don't. I've taken the back seat most of my life. I don't have a problem with that.
Brandon made a comment that having the same receivers coach 2 years in a row now is a big difference for him, and a lot of the guys on the offense having the same coach.
I think that continuity is good with everything. We've been fortunate to be able to keep our group of guys together. Our academic people together to this point, strength guys, and I think for the kids that comfortability is always important. So I think it goes right into practice, and kids know what to expect. You don't have to yell and scream about what they need to do. They know a little bit more how to do it.
And for receivers, a lot of times they talk about quarterbacks having different offensive coordinators, and that makes a big difference. Is it with the receivers coach?
Oh, I think there's no question about that. Again, having that same coach tell you the same thing, and if you listen to most kids, and I even think about myself sometimes, when you get so many people or different ideas inside your head, then all of a sudden, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So it's good to have the same coach telling you the same thing and doing it over and over and over before, and then it becomes a habit. So I don't think there's any question, having some identity there. I always go back to Adam Weber, having, I think, 4 different coordinators, and look where he's at right now. It'd been scary if he had the same guy for 4 or 5 years, how good he would be.
Brandon has quite a long relationship with Marquise too. Is that it must be a good thing for a quarterback and a wide receiver to be so tight?
Well, I think so. I think anytime that I think you're going to be a good quarterback, you better get in tight with those guys, and you got to be able to trust them. And Brandon has had some injuries and different things throughout his career. We've had a lot of kids like that, and I think the comfortability of them throwing in the off season and being close friends and those kind of things, that all comes. It's all about relationships and feeling comfortable and trusting the people you're playing with.
Can that be a bad thing too? That you have to make sure that the quarterback's looking for more than one guy too?
Oh, I don't think you have to worry. I don't think that in any system or whatever, I think that the good quarterbacks are going to get the ball to the open person, or certainly try. And I think we got some pretty unselfish kids. I think a lot of that has to do more how we coach, and I think we're pretty evident that this isn't about one person. This is about a group of guys. So I think that's if we get that going, then that goes back to me. So I feel pretty good about that right now.
David Cobb was a kid in the fall. He made some big plays in practice, and there's probably expectations for him to play, and he did play a little bit last year. Did that help? And what do you see from him?
Well, I wish we'd have redshirted him. Just like anything, but we weren't in a choice with the depth we had at running back. I think we've got 3. Well, we got 1 here, and we got 2 more coming, and so that will help that position. And get it back to where we need to. But David's had his first 2 days been very, very good, and he's 220 pounds now, and we just got to keep him healthy, and he's got great vision, and he's learned the offense, and he certainly has looked very, very, very solid the first 2 days here.
You joked that the other running backs called James Gillum the old guy. He's only a junior, but is that nice to have a guy like him come in and kind of show these younger guys a little bit?
Well, James is a very mature kid and is an awful good football player. He's learning the system right now, and he's actually done very well for 2 days. And I always say with a junior college player, you don't judge them until 2-a-day camp, because right now they're just like a freshman. But James has been somewhat like a sponge. He soaked it all in, and has picked things up pretty quick and surprisingly well, and that's a compliment to him.
There was a time here when this is running back Marion Barber was part of that. He retired today. I hate to see a guy that represents your program and retire that's in the league, but you think that it helps having guys like him that represented that position?
You look back. You look back at the history at this school, and certainly when Coach Mason and running the football and that coaching staff, they ran the ball as good as anybody in the country, and they had great running backs doing it, and Barber was a big part of that. So we use that in recruiting all the time, absolutely, and that's what we certainly, I think we all know you got to run the ball in the Big Ten, and so we certainly utilize that as much as we can.
Sure.
Speaking of running backs, it must hurt you to watch Donnell go down again.
Well, you know what, it does, because he's such a good kid and he's worked so hard in the spring. I really feel bad for him, and he's had hamstring trouble since he's been here. And I think we have to, again, I'm going to go back to Coach Kill a little bit. I think we're going to have to, when we get him back, and the good thing is it's not a knee or something like that, is when we do get him back, we're going to have to, probably, my plan is not to play him on any special teams, and we're going to have to cut his reps down, and because he's a big, strong, thick-legged kid. We've had to do that before, and we're just going to have to be cautious, and do a better job with that as a head coach, and because this is the second spring that I've had that he's come out of the gate. So I feel bad for the kid, but the good thing is it's something that we're in two-a-day camp or the season. I really feel bad, but we've got time. But I'm like you. I feel bad because he's worked really hard, and he had a great practice yesterday. He looked quick, and athletic, and confident. So, but I told him to keep his head up, and his job is to be the elder statesman and rehab, which he will, and he'll coach up those other guys.
Helps Gillum.
Yeah, they get reps. I think people forgot about Devin Wright. Devin Wright's probably one of the fastest players on our football team, and he's got his lower body's gotten stronger, and it gives him a chance to really learn, and he needs the repetition, so you never want to see anybody get hurt. We've had I think TC today had to go out and he hurt his pinky, but you say that's not a big deal. Well, it could be. All the little bitty things that you have, but you'd rather have them in the spring than have them in the fall. And, Marcus Jones, he's caught the ball very good, but we're not going to hit him all spring, and we're going to try to be careful. And we've got such a young football team, from the secondary to offensive line and other areas, that we can do a lot of things to get them better.
Donnell back in time for the fall?
Oh yeah, he might have a chance in the spring. It's John Christensen, and we had 2 or 3 of them in the off season. John, of course, an offensive lineman's a little different, but he did that about 2 weeks before spring ball, and did the same thing. Was able to, he's practicing every day. A back's a little bit different. It may take him a little longer, and every kid's different. But I'd like to get him back to where at least we maybe had him, for some individual stuff at the end of spring.
Cutting back his reps in the fall, do you worry that changes his effectiveness when he gets out of the field?
When I say cutting his reps down, I'm talking about all the special teams and other things he has to do. I'm not talking about from an offensive standpoint. Okay. I think we don't want to overload the kid. I think we're dealing different in NFL. You got guys on special teams, you got people doing this and that, and we're just not very thick with some things. But again, we're going to have about 24, 25 kids show up more, and so we'll be able to do some things. And I'd like to, he's been on kickoff, he's been on different things, is eliminate some of the, the 50, 60 yard things, during practice, and kind of work him into it a little bit. He knows that he knows he's tight hipped, and he's worked on it, and you look at the kid from Purdue, Hummel's had 2 major knee surgeries, and he had a heck of it. Sometimes him and Beal are looking for some good luck, and their time hopefully certainly will come in the fall. Maybe they'll get some luck come their way like Hummel did.
Anything else, guys?